Today is March 23rd. I had my heart attack on September 23rd, so this is 6 months. This is my pills, and this was actually last Saturday morning. I didn't take them Saturday night, but didn't take them most of last week. And then this week, I haven't taken them at all. I didn't put out new pills. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of 14. Actually, it was 8 because I just took Thursdays, I guess, pill for this morning. It's interesting. My blood pressure has been 118/78, which is below the new now lowered 10-point numbers for hypertension. They want you under 120 by 80. It used to be 130/90. That changed just since my heart attack, by the way. But it's just interesting that this is actually turmeric. There's magnesium, vitamin C. This is bromelain, which is supposed to be an anti-inflammatory. I'm not noticing it working. This is the, again, magnesium, vitamin C. This is cod liver oil. These little ones are the blood pressure, and I don't remember the name on those. It might come to me. This is just a vitamin. This is a baby aspirin. This is the lisinopril, which is supposed to make the heart not hurt. Still hurts. This is the blood thinner, the Plavix generic. Clopidogrel. And I'm just really not seeing any effect from these. I'll have to put these out. I actually have another week at my house to take them. Even the ones I've got at my house and the ones at Mom's house, I'm actually better at taking them here. But I'm just not noticing that anything is really being a positive benefit to me. And the pain that I'm having in my chest, I shouldn't have pain just from shrugging my left shoulder. I shouldn't have pain reaching out and picking up a 2-pound box of sea salt at shoulder height. And to the point where I dropped it. I shouldn't have the extreme intense pain in my chest just because they cleared a blockage. I did quit smoking. They said I needed to lose my belly and to go vegetarian. I'm mostly vegetarian anyway, but not completely, probably 95%. And I do use broths and cheese, which is probably my downfall because cheese is one of my main proteins. And I don't know, it just gets me because I should not have pain 6 months after the fact. I just went and got a pill case that was from my house. Still full. And this one again only has 7 of the 14 full. Had 8 this morning. I took a pill, or took the morning's pills. I guess I'm going to put it from here to here, but this one's been out for a couple weeks and I haven't used it at all. I'm extremely thankful for the fact that they cleared the blockage in the right coronary artery in my heart when I had my heart attack. The only thing is, when I had the heart attack, the only place I felt it primarily was right there above my elbow in my left arm. The chest had like a pressure, but it didn't hurt. Since they did the clearing of the right coronary artery, which had 100% blockage, and they put in stents without asking me, and I believe it was in what I want to call medicine by the numbers. Somebody has blocked artery, even though there's no heart disease or damage, we've got to put a stent in because that's what
the pharmaceutical companies, the manufacturer of the stent, want. And now that they put in a stent, I have to take clopidogrel, generic for Plavix, for a year. I have a prescription for Plantronics, which is a generic for something for heartburn or stomach, and I can't remember the name of what it's a generic for. Both of these, even as generics, are quite expensive pills. The name brand pills are even more expensive. And the thing that really bothers me is, like I said, they didn't ask me before they put these 3 pieces of metal in my heart, which basically look like a Chinese finger cuffs, a woven tube, and then they expand them inside your heart. And the reason that you need to take the Plavix is so that you don't have, I would assume, so that you don't have buildup on that metal as it's adhering to your heart. All of the stents that they put in my heart are roughly 1.5 inches long. And I honestly do not believe that I need them. They cleared the blockage. I did stop smoking. The heart attack was on 23 September. The last time I smoked was on 27 September. And the last time I had any nicotine was on 19 October, 4 weeks later. I'm, like I said, I'm thankful to be alive. However, I honestly think that something was done improperly or without my consent. I was awake in the cath lab the whole time. They had me in there for about 1 hour and 40 minutes. There was actually a complication. I told them in the emergency room, do not lay me on my back because I have sinus drain. After 1 hour and 25 minutes in the cath lab, I choked. I had to clear my throat, and the doctor was still playing around in my heart. And I believe that because I moved after he had already placed the first 2 stents in my heart, and he was still playing around in there, that he caused a leakage because he requested a 3rd stent. They did not have a 4 millimeter, which is what the other 2 are, but they had a 3.5 millimeter, which he immediately put in, and I was very quickly taken out of the cath lab and put into a room. However, I think that if they had hurried up the process, cleared out the arteries, and not done stent placements, and I could have been out of there within 45 or 50 minutes. I actually felt, they said they had the blockage cleared from the time I came through the door at the hospital off of an ambulance. They said the blockage was cleared in, I believe, 35 minutes. And they said the national average on 100% blockage is 69 minutes. If they could have me cleared within 35 minutes, and I know I was in the ER close to 10 minutes before they put me in the cath lab, that means 15, 20, at the max 25 minutes in the cath lab, and they had it cleared. Why were they still in my heart for 1 hour and 40 minutes? Why was I still on that table in the cath lab? I'm no stranger to pain. I've lived with it almost as long as I can remember. I was born with 2 thumbs, a form of, I believe it's called polydactylism. However, the case that I have was brought on because they put my mom on a prescription Vomidex to prevent her gaining weight during the pregnancy, and as a result I had a physical deformity of 2 thumbs on my right hand. I am so predominantly right-handed, I call myself left-hand stupid. I'll get into that a little bit further later, However, because of the surgery that they did on my hand to remove the second thumb, I was 9 months old as soon as I could have the anesthetic for the surgery. Since I was 7 or 8, I've had arthritis very bad in my right hand, particularly my thumb and the joint where it meets my hand. I broke my ankle in high school. It's still, if you can hear it, pops and cracks. They did a knee surgery in high school because I played football, did weightlifting, grew a lot real fast on my right knee. They told me, not my mother, that I'd probably need to have the left knee done within a year. That was, well, I was 15 when they told me that. I have a shoulder that bothers me. I'm not sure if it's from when I fell down the ladder on my ship and caught myself and it swung me. A ladder is a stairway on a ship, by the way. They're very steep, usually about 60 degrees above. That was John. Mom's saying I had a dislocated shoulder. I don't remember which shoulder was it. That was my left shoulder. It was the right arm that I caught myself with when I fell down the ladder on the ship. I have issues with that, but none of the pain that I've had and that I have and I wake up with it every day has been anything that I thought was debilitating. The knee is enough that I have bought a brace, and the brace helps to alleviate the pain. It gets at times to, on a 1 to 10 scale, sometimes the knee gets to 7 or 8, 9, and it seems to radiate. The whole leg seems to want to complain. However, it's usually very short-lived. Put the brace on. Actually, walking does more good for it than not walking. Movement helps. But like I said, nothing has seemed to be a debilitating pain. Since they put the stents in my heart, my pain, there is very rarely a time that I do not have some pain in my chest. Very, very little time. In 6 months since they put the stents in. Most times the pain on that same 1 to 10 scale is at least a 4. Just an everyday thing is the pain level is at a 4. Just for a note, when I went to my follow-up visit, it was supposed to be 2 weeks, but it ended up being 3 weeks after they put the stents in. They told me, and this is after spending, I was actually in the hospital for approximately 42 hours, and the whole time I was there, the thing that got pounded into me was no NSAIDs. NSAID stands for non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. The S is for the plural, because there are more than one. Problem is, they said if I had any pain to take acetaminophen, Tylenol. I'm allergic to it. I take it and it feels like I'm trying to crawl out of my own skin. I went to my follow-up appointment on the 16th of October, a little over 3 weeks after the stent placement. And the physician's assistant who was there told me, take 3, and I have this written down, they actually wrote it down for me, 3 200 milligram ibuprofens 3 times a day. Just kind of a side, the night after they did the stent placement, they gave me 600 milligrams of intravenous Plavix. Well, or no, it wasn't. It was pills, I believe. I'm not sure, but I do remember 600 milligrams of Plavix in the cath lab. That night, after in the hospital room, my mouth was bleeding. I have had my mouth bleeding. Ever since I took, as prescribed by the physician's assistant on my follow-up, I took those 3 200 milligram ibuprofens once. That was on October 16th. Since October 16th, my mouth is bleeding. It bleeds every day. I wake up with a mouthful of blood. I have to rinse my mouth out, brush my teeth, just to get the blood that sticks to my teeth, coats my entire mouth, just to get that to clear, because of the fact that I'm already on a blood thinner. I'm prescribed a baby aspirin, which is also an NSAID, every day. And then I was prescribed ibuprofen by the physician's assistant for pain in my chest. The pain in my chest is literally at times to the point where I want to cry. It hurts so bad, and the only thing that seems to ease it at all is me literally passing out. I will wake up and I look at the time and know that the last time I remembered looking at the clock was 3 or 4 hours prior. I do not remember laying down. I remember hurting. And I wake up, the pain has lessened, but I am still in fairly extreme pain, even after resting. And because I can't take an NSAID, which are ibuprofen, naproxen, which is, I can't remember a generic, for 8 hours, Aleve, and there's one other, aspirin, are the non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs or over-the-counter painkillers, because of the blood thinners I'm on and the heart. And I have such an allergic reaction to acetaminophen. Even if I take a Benadryl before, it still bothers me. I cannot take it. It just affects me too badly. But it just amazes me, because my pain, it's not a new thing to me. I can tolerate pain quite well. And literally, the pain in my chest is to the point at times, several times a week, sometimes daily, is to the point where all I want to do is cry. I'm using my left arm. I do not want it to atrophy from lack of use. However, I can't do much with my left hand. Literally reaching shoulder height and picking up an opened package of salt from a shelf that it was originally a kilogram, which is 2.2 pounds. I couldn't hold it and I dropped it. And it had been used before. It wasn't the full 2.2 pounds. I never had pain in my chest prior to them putting the stents in my heart. And like I said, the heart attack, the pain, while there was a pressure in my chest and I could feel my heart, accelerated heartbeat, my pulse was 100. The pain was all on the inside of my left bicep, upper arm, between the bicep and the tricep, where the brachial artery goes through the arm. Why is it that this is showing the blockage? No blood flow past that point. There's the heart muscle in shadow behind it. Here is the after. This area right here was where the picture was showing before. And what's with this straight right here? This straight right here. This is just me, but I've always been taught that there's nothing straight in nature. Take a look at a window. Look at a tree, a bird, an animal, something. Show me where the straight is in nature. This is where the middle stent is, the last one placed. And as far as I can tell, that's probably where the pain is. I can put my 4 fingers on my chest, starting at about my sternum and going to the left side. And I can feel, that's where I feel the pain. And it's not a pain that's like a muscular pain or somebody pokes you. It's a pain that I feel inside my chest. And the other day it was really hurting bad after I made the trip to Vegas and had 300 and some miles behind the wheel and a long day on top of that. And when I got home, it felt like I had a heavy wire pressed against the inside of my rib cage right below my sternum on the left side of my body. Am I glad that this 100% blockage is now cleared? Yes, I am. Am I glad that they put metal into my heart without my asking my permission, and I believe spent too much time in my heart so that it caused them to push through the artery and cause me to bleed because I cleared my throat after an hour and 15 or so minutes laying on my back after I had told the emergency room attendants, do not set me down on my back.